Let's see if we can get this back up. It ain't exactly 4:30 yet. Okay. We're here.
Are we on? Are we on the air? Okay, wait. Now you know I got buttons I got to go push. So hang on one second. Let me
Yes,
go
push
to
the
the
button.
browser. Oh, bear with me. Oh, wait, go live. I think it says go live. So
yes, and you push the button.
Go live.
Go live.
Okay. Good luck, everybody.
Yes, you are live. It says Malinda's World is live. We did it.
World is live. Okay.
We did it. We did it. We did it. I'm so excited that that we can chat. Like, we talk a lot, and so to be able to have a conversation just in front of the camera and just talk about business, nonprofit, and what was it, everything else.
And everything in between, because I have never really truly been able to separate business from, you keep a line between business and personal, but there is some spillover, right? Because you're putting yourself into your business as an entrepreneur, certainly. And so personal comes into play, which includes your personal, self-care, all those things, your boundaries, all that matters in how successful you can be at running a business. And I know so I'll be quiet.
No, it's all good. And for those, again, I can't really see, like, I can see some comments, but whatever, we just gonna talk and
Let me
we
see if I could do this. I'm gonna try to double time. Hold on.
Oh, wait, yeah, and see if you can see what's happening. Look,
Yes.
oh, people are joining. I see people joining on Instagram. I see it. I
I
see
don't
it.
know how you're seeing it. Could we just tell people that we are streaming from a third party platform?
Yes, in multiple different places we are streaming.
Yes.
Yes, we are streaming on multiple different platforms, and so, which is exciting.
Yeah. So, and I think the platform that we're streaming from, we can't see your comments. Is that right?
Well, I think I can just see the ones from like Facebook or something. Like, and you got to turn your volume down if we're watching
Yes,
from
ma'am.
Malin's World.
Yes, ma'am.
There we go. We can see them. They're like, "Hey, educate me." Okay, then she's ready to.
We're educating ourselves at the same
Especially
time.
like this is so unorthodox. That lets you know that we have connected on multiple different levels. So let's start all over again. Thank you so much for having this conversation today. Nonprofit as a business. But before we jump into that, tell people who you are. I know people know who you are, but you got a lot more titles now.
Ooh, girl, I'm getting the titles. It's funny. I'm Malinda Williams. I am an actress, an author, a producer, an entrepreneur, a mother, a wife, a sister, a daughter, a friend. I am all those things. I'm just a woman who is trying to live her full capacity, which is the purpose that God put me on this earth for. So that's if I just had to wrap it up in a nutshell, that's who I am. But my latest endeavor, calling, if you will, is running and starting the nonprofit, the Arise and Shine Foundation, which, as you know, started out as a women's empowerment platform. I was doing really events, workshops that were wellness focused, but also there to empower women on all levels, mind, body, and soul. And then we established the Arise and Shine Foundation, which is now a nonprofit that still serves women, but our first project initiative is going to serve young women at HBCUs with a focus on wellness and technology.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yes, I was at the brunch. I don't know if it's a secret or
Yes.
not. It always lands in like the media, but you're always sitting around like, is it gonna happen? Am I gonna get that invite? And I was so glad and blessed a few years ago to get the invitation. And it really just to she does a brunch event,
Yes.
a rise and shine brunch event
Yes.
in California. And it was just really great to be in the room, and just be able to be Rosemary, my full self. Not, it wasn't a lot of like, oh, well, here's my business card, this networking type of thing. The environment that you created just allowed women to be themselves, to be vulnerable, to be able to walk up to each other and be like, girl, you look beautiful, or where did you get that? And so how did you even get to that space of, this is the type of environment that I want?
Rosemary, I believe we create what we need. We teach what we need. When I started the empowerment platforms, it really what came out of something that came to me. You say you get a vision, or you get a feeling, or God put something on your heart. It was put on my heart to create safe spaces
Mhm.
where women didn't have to feel any type of way, inferior or superior in any way. We're all on the same level playing field because we're all going through something, right? So I wanted to create a space where we could just fellowship with one another and share our stories, share our experiences, and be the things that we need to each other, which is sometimes showing up as a compliment, showing up as just a question, which is, how can I help you? What do you need? Sometimes we're in these networking spaces and we're kind of like, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. How are you? And it's
Right.
like, no, 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 no. Take a moment to be present, to
Mhm.
say, no, really, how are you doing? I'm here to listen, not just let it bounce off of me and respond.
Mhm.
And women need that. So I needed it, right? So I was like, well, if I need it, I know others must need
Yeah.
it. And so let me create the space that I need. And
Mhm.
then, it just keeps growing and growing, because once you touch people in that space where there tends to be a vacancy or a void or a
Mhm.
need, you have fed them something.
Right.
And so each year we pray that we can do it again and again to be able to fill those voids.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful event, and I mean, every year I end up doing the ugly cry, hoping didn't nobody catch me in no photo, and just really making genuine friendships with people at that event that are not just surface. While you're there, you're feeling, oh yeah, I met this person,
Yeah.
but just these long-term friendships where you're connecting outside of that room. And so I appreciate that space, and I will always be grateful for that, because when I started my nonprofit a few years back in 2000, I think I was there at your event, maybe 2020, 122 or something like that. And
Uh,
20, was it? Wait a minute, what year is this? This is 24. So you've had it. So yeah, it was 2021, I think.
okay, and we
Yeah.
started it in 2020.
Yes, I was
2020
there in
was
21.
our very first event,
Yes.
yes. So we
Yeah.
celebrated a 5-year milestone at that event, as you know.
Hmm.
And it was very significant for me because it was the year that it went it evolved from just women's empowerment events to
Hmm.
an actual foundation that would be a 501(c)(3) that served the community. So that
Yeah.
was it was kind of a big deal for me.
Yeah, yeah, and again, exciting. Like, so how did you get there? Like, I remember the story that you told,
Yeah.
about how you walked into starting this foundation, the vision, what you actually went through, because people see you in magazines, but they don't really understand that you're a person and that you go through things. And so how did you get there?
Yeah, I am a person. I am a 100% total human being. Like I said earlier, I'm a woman, just like any other woman who goes through
Mhm.
things. I think we all have life journeys that we have to travel in order to get us to a place. And I'm saying at this point in my life, I've been in the entertainment industry for over 44 years. and God blessed me to be in this industry that long. But
Mhm.
I got to a point in my career where I thought, especially I think when it started happening in 2020, when that whole big shift began, and I just kept saying to myself, there's got to be more. And the more was not just supposed to be for me. It
Mhm.
wasn't just supposed to be about me. There's got to be more that I can do with this platform that I have been building, that I have been blessed to be able to stand on for 44 years. And so I just started asking, show me what it is, my purpose. I started searching for the purpose of that
Mhm.
platform, and it began to be revealed to me in pieces. And the first piece was starting that first brunch and bringing women into a room. And then I started getting the subsequent pieces, which would ultimately connect to the story that I shared at my brunch, which was when I was in a really space in my life where I was really suffering financially, suffering emotionally. I was going through a just a dark period, if you will,
Right.
relatively dark period. And I just said, you know what, I feel stuck. I feel stuck in the mud. Things aren't going well for me, and I want to get out of this situation. I
Mhm.
went to the store, and I knew I had to do something different. So if you
Mhm.
want to be something different, if you want something different to happen for you, you have to show up with
Right.
something different. I went to the store and I bought a book called HTML for Dummies. This was about 14 or 15 years ago. HTML for Dummies. And I started teaching myself coding languages,
Right.
programming languages. I learned CSS, I learned JavaScript,
Mhm.
PHP, HTML, and I just started building websites for some
Yeah.
of my friends and for myself, just for not for fun. It wasn't for fun, it wasn't for money, though. It was
Right.
so that I could learn, and then
Right.
once I got myself, eventually a series of circumstances pulled me out of the mud, I said,
Mhm.
"Now I'm gonna go back to Hollywood, as it were, at Los Angeles, because I was living in, Jersey at the time, but I'm going back different. I'm going back empowered." And
Amen.
it was the technology piece, learning technology, that empowered me, connected me
Mhm.
to my resilience, my ability to learn something new, my ability to show up different, my ability to not have to come somewhere and ask anybody for anything. I could build
Mhm.
my own. And so when I established the foundation, I thought, how can I empower women?
Right.
I can empower them with inspiration. I can empower them with learned, experienced wisdom,
Mhm.
but I can also empower them with skills,
Mm.
hard skills and soft skills. And those hard skills would be through coding. So we are also having a coding boot camp starting in June. That's how the story evolved.
Yeah, and I think that's really dope because a lot of times people will ask me like, "Well, Rose, how did you find your purpose?" And you
Yeah,
have people ask you that, "How did you find your purpose?"
yeah,
And purpose can be found through so many different things,
yeah,
and you wouldn't think purpose brought me through all of this and it brought me to coding. It just looks different for everybody.
yeah. Well, it definitely looks different from everybody, but I will say this, and the reason why we're here, nonprofit as a business,
Yes.
right? What I didn't anticipate, when you want to help people and you want to have a great impact, there definitely has to be structure and order to how it happens, right? And there's also an evolution of business, because you have
Yes.
an idea and you go, okay, I know what I want to do, but I'm not
Mhm.
super clear on how I'm going to do it. And that's where the nonprofit, the business of the nonprofit comes
Yes.
in, because this is how you can take that seed that you want to plant and get
Mhm.
it to be spread widely.
Right.
And so I I am so grateful that you were originally a guest at our brunch, but then we, as you said, became friends, and then you became, just an advisor. Really, you just began to, pour into us your ministry, part of your ministry, which is helping us to better understand how to run a nonprofit.
Yeah. So, and I think some of the difficult parts, whether you're a founder or whether you're about to start a nonprofit, you kind of went through some little hiccups. So even being in the place that you are, what are some of the hiccups that you went through to start? But first off, did you start it yourself? Like, did you do the research?
Didn't I tell you I taught myself how to
Yeah,
code?
I'm talking about, like, so again,
Yes.
anybody has the ability to do it.
Anybody
Education.
can do it. Yes, I bought a
Yeah.
book, you gotta read, like, yes, I
Research.
got that's how
Yes,
I
yes,
learned, I
absolutely.
have bought a manual basically, and it was like, starting a non I think it was the title was Starting a Nonprofit
Mhm.
Business. And because I also knew even if I wasn't gonna run the business,
Right.
you kinda always have to run it in the beginning because it's so
Mhm.
small, but, it's when you start out but even if I wasn't gonna run the business, I needed to know how the business should be run. So
Yes.
I needed to educate myself first and foremost. So yes, I devoured everything online, and then also making sure you don't make mistakes because you hear all these stories about
Mhm.
nonprofits and things that go wrong and people who betray
Mhm.
you and all this stuff. And
Oh,
I was like,
girl.
I want to make sure that, as much as I can avoid the
Right.
pitfalls, I will. So, yes, I did do the
Yeah.
research. I started it. It took about a year just
Mhm.
for me to even get the process of all the paperwork and the
Yes.
filings and the, um, goodness gracious, the documents and the
Yes.
numbers. And yeah,
Yes.
took
Yes.
about a
And
year.
yeah, the
Just
vision, the
establish
mission. Yes, to establish it. And I love how you said, trying to understand how the business runs.
yeah,
And whether you're a for profit or a nonprofit, it is vital to
yes.
understand, even if you don't understand every component of the business, but okay, what's going on in accounting? How to review those things. And even if it scares you, girl, because accounting scared me. That was the first job I hired for.
Oh, yeah,
But
same.
yeah, like, oh, I ain't no accountant. And
Yeah,
it's so funny. My board gave me a book that said accounting for dummies. And I was like, that's not my
it's
degree.
not for me.
That's not, like, I can read the accounting records. But
Yeah.
again, like, even though that's not your position, when you're starting your nonprofit or even when you're overseeing it, understanding, all those elements that happen and functioning pieces to the business are vital.
Yeah, understand what there's that what everyone in your organization is supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Now, whether it happens that way sometimes can be beyond your control, but at least you know what's supposed to be happening.
Yes, yes, and I think that is great. So, okay, so what are a couple of the hiccups or pitfalls that you like seriously, or even some of those things that you like seriously?
Huh. I don't want to say I haven't met with any hiccups. I just can't think of any right now, because there are so many
Mhm.
things that I and people like yourself, to be honest with you, I was consulting with you almost right away, and I
Oh,
consulted that book. Like you said, I hired the biggest hiccup would have come with accounting, but
yes.
we hired someone for that right away.
Mhm.
I think one of the other the hiccups and even still questions are how you're putting together
Yes.
your board and what kind of time you
Yes.
take
Okay.
to vet the individuals, why you need those individuals, and
Mhm.
what those board members are supposed to be doing, and what are the different distinctions between like founding board members and
Mhm.
advisory board.
Mhm.
That's the part that's a little, yeah.
Yeah, and when you're a founder of a nonprofit, you build the bylaws.
Yes.
You write them, and I don't think people really you write the bylaws, you write the mission, you write everything, and then nonprofit is a business that you don't own. And I
Yes.
think that that's the misunderstanding um of a nonprofit. You don't own it. You
Well,
know,
explain that because you have to understand ownership,
ownership. So
right?
you'll always
Mhm.
be a founder because you
Yes.
founded it. So
Yes.
in right, you'll always hold that title.
Mhm.
But I can't bring in money and be like, "Oh, this is my money because I put in $30,000." It's like, no, 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 no,
You
no,
don't
no.
profit.
Yeah,
Thus
absolutely.
nonprofit. You
Yes,
don't profit from it. And profit means anything above the expenses, right?
yes,
Is your profit. But
yes.
nonprofits, you can't keep expense. I mean, excuse me, you can't keep profit. There is no
Right,
profit. So
right.
that's what you mean by
Yes,
ownership, correct? You
yes,
don't own
yeah.
it. Yeah.
No, you
You
don't
own
own
a
it.
profit.
Yeah, or you get the donations coming in, and you like, oh, let me put this in my account. Yeah, I done heard. I have, had heard some horror stories of just, again. I think that there, you're always educating yourself,
Mhm.
whether you're in a for-profit business or whether you're in a nonprofit business.
Yeah.
Researching, again, accounting practices change yearly. Regulations. Just constantly educating on, okay, what are the new marketing trends? So what are right now you are doing the boot camp and scholarship. How did you
Yes.
come up with that? I'm scared of those scholarships. But we help people with
Why?
all kinds of other stuff. Just
They
because like, you want to make sure that the right person gets it.
Yes.
And so this fear of like, okay, I can't help everybody with this particular thing, or is this scholarship not enough? Even
Yeah.
though I was in school and I understand that $500 book grant helped me a lot. But
Yeah.
in your mindset, if you have a nonprofit and you're like, well, maybe a $500 book grant isn't enough, or
You
250 isn't
always
enough.
you
Yeah.
always feel like that. Like, it always feels like it's never enough. You can't help enough people. You can't save everybody. And realistically, you cannot.
Right.
But you can do your part, and what how I remain encouraged is I always tell myself, and I've shared this with you, Melinda, what you do is not for everybody, it's for somebody. And so if you have helped somebody, you have accomplished the point of this mission. But we
Yeah.
know we're not just helping somebody. And we
Mhm.
know it's not just, and to your point, $500 is going to make a difference somewhere.
Yeah.
I know if somebody came up to me right now and handed me
Oh,
$500,
yeah.
well, maybe not
Yeah.
five. I don't know, I'm gonna do it five. But $500, it's going to make a
Yeah.
difference somewhere in my experience. So I have to
Yeah.
keep that in perspective and remember that.
Yes.
Um, I'm not afraid of scholarships. I will say I got the heads up because, again, it was an attorney was recommended to me very early on, who gave me some really great advice about scholarships that
Okay,
we
tell me, tell me.
well, it really was just, if you are going to give scholarships, just know, or scholarships and or stipends, what are the differences?
Okay.
And I'm not going to give advice here. I'm just going to say there is a difference between
Please.
scholarships and stipends.
Mhm.
Do the research and learn what
Yes.
those differences are. And then if you are going to give a scholarship or a stipend or gifts, I
Yes.
would recommend consulting with getting some legal advice,
Mm.
because there are potential ramifications for the recipient, tax ramifications for the
Mhm.
recipient. So, but I never would want to give any solid, because everyone's
Yeah.
situation is different.
Yeah, yeah, and I definitely understand that. And I think for every nonprofit or every business, everything is not meant to be, okay, we do this and we do all of this. So like there is a profound difference between a nonprofit and a foundation. We were kind of talking about that earlier. Like
Oh,
foundations, yeah, the difference between a nonprofit and a foundation, where I'm a
mhm,
nonprofit. So I'm into the service. Like I'm digging the service. Like I'll get down, help the kids. I'm dropping off Christmas supplies.
mhm,
Where, at the same time, you have foundations that supply scholarships, like what you do,
mhm.
ensure that they get these kids get education, but you're not necessarily hands on, and your foundation doesn't supply funding for everything. So kind of walk that into that before you get inundated with 1,000 emails for for your foundation.
Yeah, well, we told you, or I've shared with you. I think, just people tend to reach out. Even anything that I announce, a lot of times people will just reach out, either wanting to support or wanting to see how they can partner or collaborate.
Yeah.
And, we're in our build, excuse me, we are in our build year. We are in our build season. And, you spoke of the word foundation. The word foundation is very powerful, no matter what it means in the nonprofit or for-profit world. The word foundation itself carries very, very heavy weight. Um, just generally, but certainly with me, it means building something that is solid, that something else can, that a structure can stand on. And
Yeah.
so our foundation is in its build season. So, we're not really in the position to bring on a bunch of different partners. We have a really amazing partner, one
Yes.
really incredible partner that we are working with. And so, we're really just trying to get our initiative right before we scale it. One of my things, again, I keep telling myself is before you go big, go right.
Right. Yes.
So we're trying to get it right.
Right.
Um, and
Right.
even if that means do it small, but do it right, do it
Yeah.
small first, do it right, and then we can scale and grow with the right blueprint.
Yeah. Yes. Just like building a house, if the foundation is not together, and with a nonprofit, it has to be the paperwork. It has to be an understanding of the reporting, the accounting, just all of those things. And then when you're ready to grow, when you walk in that room asking that donor or that funder or foundation for that, for that money or that resource, you
Yes.
got it. What it say? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Stay
You
ready so
know,
you don't have to get ready. Yes.
Yes, so
Yes.
that's vital. And do you have any advice for women who are thinking about starting a business or in a business or wanting to start a nonprofit?
I absolutely do.
Yes, give us a gem.
Uh, well, most of it is less business and more sort of
Yeah.
personal as it relates to your business because, one of the things I'm learning so much on this journey, Rosemary,
Mm,
so much. As you know, you're on the
I'm
same
glad.
journey or similar journey. But one of the things that you learn is that you can be inundated with information, overwhelmed with requests and tasks just to keep your basic lights on, the business running, right? People don't realize all the little things that go into it. There's the paperwork, there's the project management, there are the teams, there's payroll, people who have to get paid, there are meetings that you have to have. So it can come in and overwhelm your life or overtake your life if you let it.
Yes,
You have to say, I don't have a business if there is no me.
yes,
I can't run or operate a business if I'm not sound and whole and healthy and happy and genuinely enjoying what I do.
yes.
I had a moment today
Mhm.
where I said, Melinda, I was overwhelmed with some things that I had to do, and I was like, well, I'm at the computer, and my brain was not giving it to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm getting it, and I'm in, and I'm working,
Mhm.
and I'm the cat. You know what I mean? Today it
And
wasn't
then
happening,
yeah.
so I said, "Well, why don't you just take a moment and lay
Mhm.
down and close your eyes?"
Mhm.
And I did. I did that for 30 minutes. I got back up and I was like,
Mhm.
"Whoo, I'm
I feel
back." The
better.
information was there, it was coming. I recharged, I reset. And
Yeah.
so understanding that those things are also that's part
Mhm.
of a business strategy.
Yes, it
Rest.
is. Yes, it is.
Rest.
Mhm.
I heard something, and I'm not gonna go into it. I don't know where I saw it
Mhm.
because I get information from lots of places, but if people knew what happens in your brain when you rest, we would be getting a lot more rest because it's
Yeah.
part of a really, a health strategy, as we know, but it's also part of a productivity strategy.
Yes.
Today, I used it as a productivity strategy.
Yeah, I love that as a productivity strategy. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's like every time I talk to you, like there's like this warm embrace. Like again, sisterhood. I couldn't say it enough. And you need that you need it in business, you need it to help you move forward on certain days of the week when you just feel like, oh man, this outside world is just killing me, but I can call my sister. And so while I appreciate your event, I also appreciate the work that you're doing because
Mm,
that's a part of sisterhood too. Reaching back, giving back, and just showing up. Like, and even today, you showed up. I could not be more grateful for you for showing up.
yeah.
With everything that you got going on, and that makes a difference. And so how can they find you? How can they give? Because you a nonprofit too. Can they give? How can they support?
We are, and I will also say this, it is a nonprofit. As4women.org
Right.
is our website. Our first initiative is the Esteem Project, and the Esteem
Mm,
Project is, it's a program that I am calling on the community to help me support young women at HBCUs. None of us can do the work alone, not financially. And I know a lot of people think, well, you're a celebrity, you can give all the money. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. Again, that's not how
Yeah,
the
it's not how it
business
works.
of nonprofit, you can't put all your personal money in it, right?
Yeah.
It's not a private foundation, it's a public foundation.
Mhm.
And so you do have to solicit funds from the public and as well as other places. But
Mhm.
more importantly, part of the vision for me in having the platform was to be able to call on my followers, my friends, my fans, my family to join in a community effort. Um, Everything is more powerful when it is exponential. And these platforms allow us to have exponential growth. Websites, Facebook, Instagram, all these, YouTube, all of these platforms allow us to multiply more quickly. Technology allows us to multiply more quickly than ever in
Yeah.
any time in history. So I
Mhm.
know it is my honor, but it is also my duty to use this platform in the way that brings together the community to help those of us in the community that could use our support, and that's certainly young women at HBCUs.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing that you can do to help any nonprofit, especially as for women or Rise and Shine Foundation, is share her message. Share this feed.
Share the
Share
message.
the message. It
Yes,
don't
yes.
cost nothing but a push, a like. While you liking it, make sure you share it. And because again, these little tidbits are
Yeah.
things that I'm sure you didn't read in your book. That book that you got, I'm sure the things that you learned, you didn't learn all of that in that book.
No, no. There's I didn't learn those things in that book. I learned a lot of it from you, Rosemary. Let's be honest. You have I have, because I'm one of these people, I've got questions for
Mhm.
days, and then sometimes I'll process the answer, and then I got more questions. You never tire of me asking questions. You offer more than an abundance of information and insight on running a nonprofit business. And what I will say is that we as women, we're learning to share our resources more. Your knowledge, your information is a valuable resource.
Thank
It
you.
wasn't given to you, and your story wasn't given to you to hoard, right? To hold for
Right.
yourself. And so you are being unselfish in sharing your knowledge and information. And I tell you, it is, it's worth a lot. It's worth a lot. Um, you can go to my page at Malin's World um, on Instagram. Yes, and as for women, it's as for women org.
Oops. Okay.
Yeah, as for women org or Malin's World, and there is the information on my feed where you can see all about or learn all about the esteem project that we are putting up this summer at
Yeah.
Jackson State University. The first school will be Jackson State.
Yes, and you can learn about her scholarship. You can learn about information. Follow her. Follow Rosemary's Babies Company. Trying to educate our community. That's what sisters do.
That's
And I appreciate you again for coming on this platform. Help. Kindness costs us nothing. I think that's what I told you the first time. Like, and you showed me kindness from the first moment that I met you, and I was so incredibly grateful to be able to repay that, even though there was no debt.
oh,
So even though where there was no debt.
Rosemary. Come
So
on, no tears. We're not
I won't do it. But what
we're
we
not
will say is
Yes.
anything last, final.
Well, I do want you to mention about, because I want some of my followers to also understand about your class or your is a webinar.
No, it is an in-person class. So I am offering the nonprofit as a business, hence this conversation for I live in Ohio. And so again, sisters from a long way away. But nonprofit as a business, again, providing the same information that I did one-on-ones with you and your team, but wanted to really get in front of a group of people and say, okay, you might not be able to afford to talk to me, and I really don't have time to talk to 50 people,
Yes.
but here I'm gonna put you in a room give you all of the information that I had to research or pay somebody, or, and it's in relevance to scaling, development, feasibility
Documents.
documents. So yeah, I'm providing all of those tools
Yeah.
that you're like, I can't get funding, or I can't move past this.
Yeah.
I'm providing you the tools to help to, with the foundation, so that you can scale, so that you can walk into a room and feel more confident in front of those funders and those people. And so you can always follow me on rosemarysbabies.co, or just Rosemary Oglesby-Henry. I'm the CEO and founder of Rosemary's Babies Company and the president of the P.E.T.A.L.S Incorporation. And I'm Malinda Williams' friend.
And I'm Rosemary's friend. Now, Rosemary, I have a question though. You're doing this in Ohio in person, which is
Yeah,
great. Being in the room is always, is
yeah,
always wonderful. But I think the information, and this is just me, as we talk, like just girlfriend to girlfriend, offering you advice, because I'm always like, is this going to be a class? Is this going to be
yeah,
streamed? So
yeah.
I want to know,
Okay.
how can, or maybe perhaps I'm just putting the bug in your ear to think about, you do the in-person class, but somehow stream it, because
Yeah.
it is a service. And I know this is a class, right? That people pay for. Yes.
Yes, yes. And
Yes.
so it's funny, the person that does my marketing is like, okay, Rose, when are you gonna do the one for online? And so I'm like, okay, we'll try to shoot for that this summer,
Yeah.
to do something online, so that other people who reach out in different states, and just, they can't necessarily be in the classroom, or can come out, and even doing some smaller, informationals in different categories. So I have every intentions on doing that. And so thank you for saying it. That just means God just was reiterating it, for me to do it. And so again, this whole conversation is also a piece, because everybody has tools and resources and knowledge, and
We
share
want
it.
to share.
Share it.
That's right. Well,
Yeah.
I will tell you, it's been the information, the resources, the document, everything that you have shared with us has been a tremendous help to us.
Yeah.
It's almost, I can't thank you enough, because we would have probably had to take years and meet with some of those hiccups that you mentioned
Mhm.
earlier, before we would get those lessons, and you allowed us to avert them.
Yes.
So no
So, and I
problems.
appreciate it. And again, I appreciate you. Thank you all for tuning in, and for this conversation between friends about nonprofit business and everything else. And this is Malinda Williams. Follow her, get to know her, and support Arise and Shine Foundation. And buy her book. You didn't even say nothing about your book. We got to talk about the book before
Because
we get
there's
off
so
of
many
here.
things, Rosemary. I have a
Go
book,
to
I
the
have
book.
affirmation. Just go to
Yes,
my page. It's all
yes. Go
there.
to her page. Go to her page. But the cover of her book. Oh my goodness! Like
Oh,
that's the picture up there. I was like, I want to do that one day. But anyway, let's get off of here. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, and follow our social media. We may have another conversation. Always dropping those tools and resources for in order to lift up our sisters and the community. It's
indeed.
our
Indeed.
responsibility. All right.
Thanks for
Thanks, everybody.
joining. Thanks, Rosemary. Talk to you soon. Bye.